Greetings and welcome to Africa Online Media Corporation. Your unmuted co-host. All the same, we will be starting right away. So, greetings and welcome to Africa Online Media Corporation. Yes, it is the second Sunday of the month of June. June seems to be on wheels, isn't it? We are having cloudy skies and light rain in our neck of the woods. How is it in your neighborhood? How is it in your neck of the woods? And how is it out there on the continent of Africa? I know in many parts of the continent it is a rainy season, but in other parts there is dry season. Thunderstorms in this country are regular at this time of year, so it is one of those days. We have light rain, as I said already, and we're expecting some thunderstorms as from 7 p.m. tonight, that is in this part of the world. Wind speeds 19 miles per hour. That is quite something. That said, today is Sunday, the 8th of June. It is Pentecost Sunday for those who call themselves Christians, but Christians, let me just put it that way. And it is the day the church actually started its life. That is, the Christian church started its life officially on this day. That said, Africa Online Media Corporation is here with its usual program. We're sorry for last week. Technical hitches prevented us from doing it. And I know Ambassador Lisa came in when everything else had shut down. All the same, we're here and we're happy to know that you're out there. Please welcome to the program as we go straight to our editorial, our reflection for the day. June is the 6th month of the year in both the Gregorian and Julian calendars. June has a length of 30 days. June succeeds May and precedes July and marks the start of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. Today, June the 8th, is the 159th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are thus 206 days left until the end of the year. So we have 206 more days to say 2025. June the 8th, 2025 is the 23rd Sunday of 2025 on the 24th week of 2025. To Christians, it is, as I said earlier, Pentecost Sunday, the birthday of the church. It is also the 81st day, that is 81 days of spring, meaning that we still have 12 days, Ambassador Lisa, we have 12 more days till summer. June comes from the Latin word Junus, named after the ancient Roman goddess Juno, the goddess of marriage and childbirth, fertility, isn't it? Although along with July and August, June is one of the hottest months of the year in this part of the globe, that is, in the Northern Hemisphere, especially in North America. The Atlantic hurricane season, that is, when tropical or subtropical cyclones are most likely to form in the North Atlantic Ocean, they began on the 1st of June, and they will continue until the 30th of November. June is National Safety Month in the United States of America. It is thus a month-long observance period aimed at increasing awareness of and ultimately decreasing the number of unfortunate injuries and deaths in the country. Unfortunately, it began badly for some of us, but all the same, we are not giving it any importance because the Almighty is watching over us. On its part, Africa Online Media Corporation generally dedicates the month of June to men and devotes its discussions to honoring men and celebrating them for who they are, because they are the fathers of the world. And of course, next Sunday, the 15th, will be Father's Day. So please don't forget to tune in. Don't forget to come in to give a shout out to that important person, that role model person in your life who made you who you are, who lifted you up when you fell, and we made sure that you stayed focused on your objective. Today, we are celebrating, or we are honoring our menfolk and shining light on some of the challenges they face as they seek to make life more wholesome and more livable for themselves and for the families they lead. And we are raising hope because we know that Africa Online Media Corporation has to always dwell on hope. Men in general face vast challenges, some more difficult than others to solve. Most men, if not all of them, and most challenges that they face impact them, the men, in various ways, mentally, emotionally, and physically. But what exactly are those challenges that men face today? We understand that the challenges are many, with some being more difficult to deal with than others. So how do the men minimize and or overcome those challenges? Let me rest my case at this point and invite the chair of Africa Online Media Corporation, Her Highness, Dr. Pam Fono, to welcome us to this show. It is unscripted. You're welcome to it, and please be ours. Reverend Pam.
Yeah, so I didn't know it was a case. I didn't know you were presenting a case, but before I say anything, Ambassador Lisa, I am truly, truly happy, and I'm sure Asong is, to see you. The devil missed his way. You're untouchable. You know, you're more than a conqueror, and we thank God for saving your life.
Yes.
You know, I'll just leave it at that. So I'm particularly happy to see you, and thank you for your faithfulness. Dr. Crosslin, we are very happy to see you too. Thank you for your dedication to this show and for your faithfulness. And of course, Unia Song. I can't wait to see you in New York, you know, city. I hope I will see you, Dr. Crosslin, and your Mr. DCs. You bring some of them to New York. In Atlanta, you are the one that helped with the Billionaire Breakfast Brunch. You know, hopefully you'll be there. I think it's driving. Is New York City driving distance from Philadelphia? You're muted, Ambassador Lisa.
I'm on my phone, so I'm not sure how this works. Yes, New York is drivable. It's only 2 hours drive.
Oh, good. Oh, all right.
Yeah, but
And
we've
hopefully
got
you bring.
trains. Yes, we've got trains and buses that go from Philly
And your
to New York all
sister
the time.
your sister that was in Atlanta too. You know, so please invite her.
Yes, we're both supposed to be coming.
Awesome, awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. I've not seen you since 2022. You know.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and 2022 was the first time we met. And it was funny because I did not realize that we had not met because we are always on this show. So,
yes.
I mean, it was like, when I greeted, I'm sure Ambassador Lisa was wondering what was wrong with it. My mind did not even click that was our first time meeting because I was so busy with the event, you know.
Right.
But hopefully we'll hang out in New York, you know.
Amen.
It's like we see each other every week.
Yeah, yes. Exactly, you know. Yes. And then we talk on the chat group. So yes. I met Dr. Crosslin last year, you know, in person, and she's more beautiful than her picture shows here. But I also want to acknowledge our viewers around the globe. And again, we are streaming on YouTube. So we don't intend to go back to streaming on Facebook. But I want to encourage our thousands of followers on Facebook to start following us on YouTube. You know, because now they are sending messages that they're going to be deleting some old videos. We don't have the manpower to go back and be protecting all those videos we did. You know, this is 9.5 years worth of work that we have done. But this month belongs to our men. Nia, so what did you say about the name June? One of our volunteers at Africa's Brain Bank is called June. What did you say in your editorial about the name June?
It's from the Roman
goddess of,
you know, and
I'm sorry?
The goddess of marriage and childbirth.
The goddess of marriage and childbirth. Okay.
Yes, the Roman goddess of marriage and childbirth.
That's good. She is actually a goddess, you know.
Yeah.
She's helping us with some PR work, and she'll be in New York too, so you guys will get to meet her.
Okay.
But thank you so much. I'm going to hand over to Ambassador Lisa.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, and or good morning, everyone, everywhere. I am so delighted to be here today. Almost was not, but for the grace of God, I am
That will
here.
never happen. He
Amen.
has you in the palm of his hands.
He certainly does, and he sent angels.
He is greater than all the evil that
He is greater
wants to
than
come.
every situation you can ever go through. I don't care how bad it looks.
Yes.
I don't care what you think about it. God is still greater, and He has a purpose and a plan in it. So no matter what you're going through or how bad you think it turns out to be, there is something that God has in store for you. So
That's
I'm
right.
looking forward to the miracle and the blessing that will come from this situation. Amen. So I'm very sore. I'm very sore today. So I don't plan to do a whole bunch of talking, or maybe that will distract me from some of the pain. But as we said, this is June, and we're going to talk about our men all month. We are here to encourage our men. We are here to push and elevate them. We are not, Africa Online is not the kind of group that browbeats, talks about, or puts down our brothers. They are our brothers, and they need to be encouraged. They need to be lifted up. They need to shine brightly in our eyesight. I preach a message called Woman, Wife, Mother, Savior of the Home. Now, the first time I preached that message in Uganda, you could feel the atmosphere in the room shift. All the men just shut down until I start talking about how the woman's responsibility is to get up under that man. That's what submit means, to get up under and push up. And then if we get up under our men and push up and be the helpmates that God called us to be, we can put them in the place where they're supposed to be. And then they can turn around and bring you up into the place where you're supposed to be. But somebody has got to break the cycle that we have. So we are here to encourage our men this month. We're here to talk about them. We're here to elevate them and let them know that we love them. We appreciate them, bring the brothers in our life, the men in our lives, and that they are here to guide, guard, and govern, to do what God called them to do. And if we allow them to, then we can do what we're supposed to do. So let's get the conversation started. Nia Sung, usually I take off with the conversation and kind of steer it, but I'm going to be depending on you today to steer this wagon.
And you are still fired up and ready to go, pain or no pain. That pain must bow.
It's all right. Yes. So,
Nia Sung, I'm going to ride on his wagon today. So where are we going? My laptop is down. The internet is not functioning. So I can't get to my notes for whatever I had. And so where are we going? Let's just get into the conversation about our men.
We're here to talk about our men, honor them, and give a shout out to them. And of course, we know that the men do what they do, but they have challenges. They face a lot of challenges as they strive to do what they do. So let's get the conversation going and let's see how far we can go.
Okay. It is good. So, it's a good thing because Dr. Crossley has a program called Mr. DC.
Yes, so we would love to see that be in every city. So I say that. Let's talk about Mr. DC and what is that all about? Because we don't want to talk too much about, what we're going to talk about next week on Father's Day. But yes, we are here to elevate our men. So we want to talk about the Mr. DC program and how you can be involved. Dr. Crosland, welcome to Africa Online.
Oh, hi. I'm in the kitchen, so you might hear some noise in the background.
Like what? Grease frying, chicken frying in the pan?
It's some knocking noise and stuff, when the dryer is going.
Oh, that's okay. We can't hear that anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, got my dryer going.
So introduce us to Mr. DC. What is that all about?
Yeah. So Mr. DC is a program that celebrates the successes of men in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia areas. And the men are celebrated because they are successful in business, their career, and in the community. They have platforms just like women do. And also in their family environment. So they support family. And the first year's winner, at the time, he was working for the President of the United States. And he continued to work there, I think, up until this current administration, but I'm not sure about that. The first year's runner-up is a very well-known attorney, and he raised over $500,000 to pay for child care for underprivileged moms in Washington, D.C. All the men on the first year were outstanding. I'm going to skip around a little bit. One of the other Mr. DC was commissioned by the Maryland State's Attorney as a commissioner, and he also received a free Lexus car from the Lexus Car Company for volunteering. So when I say service in the community, in order to qualify to be celebrated for the competition, the men have to have at least 20 hours of community service. Yeah, so all of the men who have joined in the competition are celebrities, well-known news reporters, outstanding men. And this idea came about because of the George Floyd massacre. And a lot was going on at that time when it didn't seem like Black lives mattered. And so I just couldn't take any more. I'm just like, there's nothing positive at all that I can find on the news. In fact, I stopped watching news after watching George Floyd get murdered. I stopped watching TV altogether. So yeah, so we wanted to celebrate men. And I was so surprised that all the men that showed up and signed up, the first year there was like, I want to say it was sold out, packed out MGM. And people honestly were upset that the guy they picked didn't win. Well, we could only have one Mr. DC. I wanted everybody to win. So that's when I met Mayor Cross, and she came up with the idea, well, let's have royal ambassadors. She's on the board of directors for the Mr. DC program. And so Dr. Mayor Cross, she wasn't doctor at that time. So she came up with the program, the Royal Ambassador. So that's how that was born, Mr. DC and the Royal Ambassadors. And the men still get to participate in the Mr. DC program as Royal Ambassadors, even if they don't win the crown. And so far, we have 4 Mr. DCs, and they're still involved in Mr. DC. They still support each other in their community activities. And their platforms range from autism awareness to wounded warriors. So they support, I call it A to Z. So with the first year's winner, Mr. DC, working at the White House, his platform, Autism Awareness, really, like 4 years ago, we didn't hardly know about autism and the autism spectrum. We had heard about it. So he brought awareness to the DMV on autism. And the First Lady of the United States wore the autism t-shirt that they designed in their video. And I just thought that was really nice of her. Yeah, so that's how the program came about. And that's where we are now. And thank you for asking. And I'm open for any questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, we're gonna be talking quite a bit about Mr. DC. Now, I know Mayor Cross. I was not responsible, but I hosted the conference where she got her doctorate degree, her honorary doctorate, and her ambassador's appointment. So I'm very aware of Mayor Cross. We're looking for her. As a matter of fact, she will be hosting our conference this year down in the Maryland area. So you came up with this idea to have the Mr. DC program because of what you saw happening with the Floyd murder and our men just being totally disrespected. So I really like the fact that you just, as an individual, just took it upon yourself to do something. And it does not have to stay in DC. For those of you who are listening, I'm pretty sure that Dr. Crossland is open for you to have one in your city. And she will give you the platform. She will help you with the platform. Am I correct? Because we want all of our men to be exalted, to be encouraged, and to be recognized for the hard work that they do. We do a lot of things. There is so much history that African American men and Black men have been responsible for that have been eradicated, that have been erased, that have been hidden. And it is time for it to shine. Now, she said she's been only doing this for 4 years. So who are some of your, well, maybe I don't want to ask that question, but let me just put it this way. Do you have many supporters and partners in order to make this happen, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have donors and sponsors, and it just really touches my heart because it is a community, 100% community supported program. And I know that it does make me want to cry because that image of seeing George Floyd being held down too long. And that just reminds me of the men, all of them. They were disappearing. They were being pushed back, not being acknowledged, all of them, and being held down too long. And so when Mayor Cross, she was our keynote speaker, and I hadn't, that was my first time meeting her, is when she actually walked up on the stage and she started talking about the Mr. DC program and what it means to celebrate our men. And so every year she's been our keynote speaker because she's given the direction and the next action steps and the call to action, not only for men, but for the entire community. And I remember when she stepped off of the stage and we had a red carpet, and I got people, the men, to take pictures with her. And I was like, Mayor Cross, can they take a picture with you? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, can we touch you? Because we hadn't seen any mayors, any politicians, nobody stepping up, speaking out on behalf of people until she came along. And so
very touchable. Yeah.
And so she has set the example, and she's still setting the example. And I learned so much from her because she didn't just stay in Glen Arden. She reached across the aisle to other people and bipartisan ideas. And people actually didn't like her for that. But she doesn't talk about that. She don't dwell on that. And so that showed me that I don't have to stay in my zip code, that I can go out. And so we have other men that we celebrate, Mr. Cincinnati, Ohio, Mr. Cleveland, Ohio. There are other men that are participating in the program, even though they are not in the DC area. But it does take a lot of community action in order to support men. Thank you so much for your question.
Yeah, you just answered my question there, because I was going to ask you if, because it is called Mr. DC, it's limited to DC residents only. But now you just answered that question by saying there are other people from other places.
Yeah, Nielsen, but I'm not sure. Let's just get some clarity. Are you saying that there's a Mr. Ohio who participates in Mr. DC, or is Ohio having its own type of Mr. Ohio program? And
so I'm saying both.
Oh, okay. So tell us, when is this program? Can we come? Are people invited? is it like a pageant like Miss Senior Virginia? Tell us a little bit more about how we can be involved and
So,
attend and why.
so the men decide how they want to participate. They plan everything. And then the board of directors either approves or disapproves. I don't make any of the decisions.
Okay.
It's a 100% community supported event. The community decides, the community shows up, and everybody plays their part. Whether it's the designers, whether it's the fashion show, even the judges. The lead judge is a well-known community activist. Um, and all the judges, they're the same every year. They're celebrities. So they're invested in Mr. DC. And the MC, Dr. M, and she brings all of the surgeons and all of the medical community out to support. So everybody has a part. So yeah, it is for men. They decide their talent, the questions. They are awesome men, and yeah, it's like a pageant, and they wear a crown just like kings do, like kings in Africa, like kings in Europe, kings everywhere. So, and we want the men to be celebrated. We want them to feel like they belong and that they are special. And they get flowers.
Awesome.
Yeah, they can wear whatever they want. We don't discriminate. We don't tell people what to do or how to do. Everybody's, they go through strict contracts, paperwork, guidelines. They have a criteria that they have to meet. Mayor Cross has to vet them and approve them. So it's a safe program and it's a safe place for men. Thank you.
When is the Mr. DC?
So it was the first Sunday in December, and we moved it to the Martin Luther King Library Auditorium and to the around the Martin Luther King holiday for that reason.
Awesome.
It's not
Awesome.
held in January. Are you saying that it's held in January?
Yes.
Okay, because Martin Luther King holiday comes in January.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just say this, Dr. Crossley, thank you so much for doing this for our men. Our men really need to know, because historically, there's been a systemic effort to dehumanize them, degrade them, accumulate them, and make them feel worthless. And I am so glad that this was being done by you. I mean, you are the visionary for it. And even though it took a sad situation to ignite this, but I am so happy that this our men, whether it's Mr. DC or other Mr. whatever state, honoring our men is very, very important. But I want to say this to our sisters and our children. It starts from the home. We have a lot of men that are not being respected in their homes, especially those who don't make as much money as their wives.
Right.
It's not just in the African American community, it happens a lot in the African community. One thing people fail to understand is that it doesn't matter how much money you, the woman, make, you can never be the head. You can never be the head of the family. If you take that position, you're bringing curses upon yourself because you are not supposed to be the head. And I just want to encourage all our men, especially those that may be having trouble at home with their spouses or children, disrespect. Some of these men have resorted to drinking and being pushed to do things that they will not normally do because home has become a war zone. And I want to call out all our sisters. You are not supposed, your house is supposed to be a hospital, a sanctuary, a safe place for these men. They are already endangered species out there. Let that not happen in the house. Let the house be a safe haven for them. I'm not saying that all the men are innocent. But you cannot solve a problem by being a problem yourself. Prayer, you can never go wrong with prayer. Give the man a reason to come home every day. Give him a reason. If he cannot feel safe at home, where else would he feel safe?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Where else would he feel safe? Sometimes the enemy comes to their front door in their house to attack them from outside. So you on the inside should not be a nightmare for them. You should not be a source of stress or a poison ivy in their home. You should not be. So I just want to encourage our sisters. Let's protect our men. Let's love them. Let's look out for them. Let's let them know that they can always count on us. You will never know what it feels like to be a black man. You will never. I don't care how black of a sister you are. You will never walk in a mansion, just like a man can never claim they know what labor pains feel like. They can be in the delivery room. That doesn't mean they feel the pains.
Right.
So I just want to encourage our sisters. Over to you guys.
And while we're on that subject of encouraging the sisters, we have to also understand that society is terrified of our men. Yeah. Which is why they are constantly under attack, which is why they are undervalued. This is why they are underpaid. So we have to understand our role as kingmakers. I never forget one year, I brought one of my classmates home from the hospital to take care of. And I was terrified. I'm finally in my own home and I'm bringing this man to live in my house. But we've known each other for all of junior high and high school. And when I told my mother that I was bringing him home, she said, "Oh, good. Now he can be cared for and he can be saved." I was like, well, I wasn't expecting that. And it was some time later because after him, I brought in my two sisters. I had another brother from school. And I've just had a series of people I've been taking care of. And God spoke a word. He said, "I bring them to you because you have the ability to nurture." And it was some years later that the Lord said to me, "I've called you to be a kingmaker. And this is what you have been doing." So, sisters, we are called to be kingmakers. We don't want to be the king destroyers. You don't want that title.
Exactly.
We are here to build them up. And yes, society does not want them to get a good job so they can be the head of their home and be responsible for bringing the bread home while the wife can stay home and take care of the home if that is her choice. No, if a man and a woman go for a job, she is going to get the job and he's not. So that's another notch that you've knocked him down. So I'm going to encourage you, my sisters, even if you have a husband who makes less money than you, it should never be thrown in his face. You should never use it as a weapon because, first of all, that's God's son. And God is going to hold you accountable and he's going to deal with you. He gives you a chance to have a change of heart. He gives you a chance, like today, listening and tuning into this program to understand what your role is in encouraging our men. But after so many chances, then you're going to be dealt with and you're going to be reaping a harvest that you did not really intend to. So let's reverse that curse. Woman, wife, mother, you are still the savior of that home. You have the ability to put that man in the place that he's supposed to be. As Reverend Pam said, when he comes home after that war zone in the office, that war zone on the job, that war zone, he should not come home to have a battle in his home with his children. You should not be talking about your husband to your children.
Yeah.
They should never hear you saying negative things about him. Even if you're talking on the phone to your friends, they should not be in earshot. Have those conversations when they go to bed in your room with the door shut. And if you are having those conversations with your friends, they should be conversations that heal. Yes, I understand your frustration. Believe me, I understand your frustration. But your conversation should not be to destroy him. I was just talking to one of my sisters just before I got here, and I was saying how I understand my role in her life. I'm not married. I'm not dealing with the things that she's dealing with her husband. But when she calls me to talk about him, she's not getting my opinion. She's getting a listening ear because sometimes you just need to talk it out. So you just be there to listen, pray, encourage, You don't have to come in agreement with what she's saying, and you don't have to be in disagreement. You're just there to be a listening ear. So we have to be sisters who know how to cover, and you can't be everybody's everything. So you have to make sure that you're trusting that one that you're sharing your business with, that they're not going to tell anybody other than Jesus.
Yeah, and
so go ahead, Reverend Pam.
No, finish what you were saying. I thought you were done.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is we have a responsibility as women, as helpmeets, to help cover, to help take care, to make sure that your home is not a war zone for your husband and your son's fathers, because they are looking at how you treat them, because then that's how they're going to get a wife or a woman in their life. You don't want them treating any woman disrespectfully. So don't you disrespect the men in their lives. We have to remember that we are examples at all times. Even if you don't intend to be, you still are. Not just to your household, but to people who see you on a job, who see you on the street. Do they see you talking negatively and calling your husband bad names and things like that, and then telling the children they're no good? You don't understand the cycle that you are repeating, and the damage, the trauma that we're putting on our children, that they're going to be walking in for I don't know how many years. And then we don't understand why they need psychotherapy, or why they end up, as Reverend Pam said, drinking, because they're trying to mask that pain. It's painful. As she said, we never know as women what it's like to be a Black man in this country or any other country. But we don't want them self-medicating themselves, because the pain at home is worse than the pain that they get in the street.
You know, Ambassador Lisa, thank you so much. When you were talking about this man, it reminded me of a young man. I came from a very wealthy family. He was born in California. The dad, the parents, I won't say which country he's from, but he how these young people, peer pressure or peer influence. They sent him, they went back home. The parents sent him back here to the US to continue school. One of his friends advised him to move, instead of going to California, to come to Texas with him. It turns out the friend was hanging out with the wrong crowd. Make a long story short, he ended up becoming a drug dealer. A child from a very wealthy home became a drug dealer and was almost killed, because when these drug dealers, their supervisor or whatever, they suspect you that you're either messing with their money. He used to tell us the kind of money he was making on the streets, unbelievable. So he escaped with his passport and came and slept on the premises of the church, because he knew they would not be looking for him on the church premises. So that we had a midweek service, and when my pastor was done, my pastor just called him. My pastor felt something about him. Called him into his office. It turned out he's from the same part of the country like my pastor. He was surprised to hear my pastor speaking his dialect, because my pastor doesn't even sound African. So that night he went home with some couple, but then he ended up staying with me. That night I went because I was head of medical missions. I always had stuff. We had mobile units there. I went and got him clothes, shoes, toiletries, everything. So he ended up living with me. He lived with me for about 3 years. I trained him to become a pharmacy technician. And he was a very good one at that. So he went from being an illegal drug dealer on the streets to a certified drug dealer as a pharmacy technician, because he was certified. And as we speak, he's gone back to Africa. Guess where he's earning his living? In a pharmaceutical company in his country. I'm just saying, I never knew I was even going to train him to become that. I was just getting somebody off the streets,
Exactly.
But why people were worried, because I was living alone at the time, that he was living with me. I even taught him how to cook, and grill fish and whatever. So I think there was a time when he was doing that in some restaurant before he finally went back home. But I am happy to say the position he holds today and the way he's earning his living in a pharmaceutical company came from that training. But you see how God took him from the wrong drug dealing to the right drug dealing, doing the right thing. So these men, sometimes they just need encouragement, even when they miss their way. Even when they miss their way, let's guide, because I didn't judge him. And even if he was going to do something wrong, just the fact that I brought him into my home, that kind of love, you know, covered all a multitude of sins, like the Bible says. It's just like having a thief, giving them access to your bank account for your company as the treasurer or financial controller. They're not going to steal from you. They'll be surprised that you actually asking a thief to control your money. But who better to control your money than somebody who knows how money is being stolen? You know, so
you're right,
we just need, yes,
that's exactly right. Yes,
and they'll become the best custodians of your money.
I believe it.
I'm not saying I should go out there and give an account to every thief. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just looking at this young man, and he was very good at it. Once I trained him, he was one of the best technicians I had. One of the best, you know, and I'm glad to see that, you know, that's how he's earning his living right now. And he's doing very well. All right.
That's what we have to, that's why we have to be very discerning about what we're doing. Like I said, after I opened my home and brought my brother in, I had my natural sister, my stepsister, one other brother from my neighborhood. I was like bringing them all home from the hospital. No one was there to take care of them. One of my brothers was a paraplegic and got caught up in drugs, you know, people, places, and things, lived in a project. The elevator was always broke, so he could never go anywhere. So people would come in and just kind of take over the apartment and got him hooked. He ended up in the hospital. And even to bring him home from the hospital, I had to go to counseling. I had to go to counseling session. They went, why are you bringing this paraplegic to your home? Why are you doing this? What is all this about? So I had to go to different trainings and meetings to find out why I was, because I know him, I care about him, I want him out of places, people, places, and I want him from away from those things, to give him an opportunity to have a fresh start, a fresh mindset, not have to worry about if he's going to be depending on a drug dealer to bring him food who says, you got to hold my drugs, you got to hold my gun, you know. So we have to be very discerning about what we're doing, but we also have to be very calculating about what we have to be very intentional about the brothers that we see on the corner. We can't assume, like you said, we can't judge. They're just out there because they ain't got nothing else to do. They're out there because their mamas are sick. Maybe their mothers are on drugs. Maybe they've got responsibility for children at home, their brothers and sisters at home, and they're just trying to feed their family. But all we see is the young boy on the corner who should go get a job. But we don't know that he's illiterate and can't hold a job, can't fill out an application, can't read. So we can't judge them. We have a responsibility to try and befriend them, to pray for them, because they are the next king. They are the next man of God. They are the next who God has called them to be. But the enemy has snuck in. And we as women and men of God have got to be the ones that will step in and encourage our young men, young brothers, and get them early. Like one of the programs that I do is our boys' power lunch. Now, we did not host the power lunch this year, which would have been our 28th year, simply because we didn't have any boys. We only had 2 boys that registered. And the cost of doing the power lunch is way too extravagant for just 2 boys. But there's a certain age category, and it's the date. And then, you know, other people have other things. But this would have been the 28th year that we have hosted a boys' power lunch. And we started off, one, because the boys at church said, why y'all doing a tea party for girls and y'all don't do anything for boys? So we started off teaching them giving them a menu and teaching them how to order from a menu, how to come dressed. Even to this day, there's a criteria. No jeans are allowed. Sneakers are not allowed. They must wear a tie. And if they don't come with a tie, we give them a tie to wear. Now, we don't want you to go out and buy a suit if you don't have it, but we say put the best that you have on, but jeans are not allowed, because we want to show them that jeans can't be worn everywhere. Sneakers can't be worn everywhere, and that there is a change of clothes and a certain attire, a certain feel that you get from dressing a different way. And I can't even count the number of boys who have come through our choice mentoring programs, who have come to the power lunch. Once the boys age out, they get a gift of a tie clip. And then most of the time, the boys come back and they volunteer with us for another 5 years until they graduate high school and go on. I think we've had one. At one, I think we had one to come back as a guest speaker, and we found that young people are better equipped at speaking. I remember one time we had Civil Air Patrol come as the guest speaker, and the man was so boring, and he was so lifeless that the boys were just so uninterested. We said, that's it. No more old people. We get young people in their 20s come in and speak, because they're very close to the age. The age for the boys is 6 to 12. After 12, you age out and you can come back as a mentor. You can come back as a helper and help the other children. You have to be able to write, because we have a health portion, we have a health and hygiene portion, we have an education portion, and then there's the etiquette, and then every year there's a theme, and we have speakers based on that theme, and they get books on that theme. They go home with a minimum of $50 in gifts. That none of that comes out of the parents. That we supply that out of our pockets. We pick the book, we get gifts. They ask questions. They get to come to the gift table and pick a gift. So when their parents come, they got armfuls of gifts and books and things that they have won by answering questions and things like that. Now, the girls' tea party, I think we spend way more than that on a girls' tea party.
Are you surprised? Girls are high maintenance. Women are high maintenance.
Yes, we spend a lot more on the girls. Even the food, the way the food is presented, the tea and the little dainty sandwiches, and we teach them how to eat, how to drink. I'm the tea matron. I teach tea culture, how to drink, how to hold your napkin, how to sit as a lady. We do health and hygiene as well. We teach them how to a table set. And this will be our 30th year for doing the girls' tea party. The tea party is coming up in July.
Years? How many years?
30. This will be our 30th anniversary for the tea party.
When is it?
It's July 19th.
Oh, I'll be in Tuskegee. You know, Ambassador Lisa, what you're saying about this manpower launch, I just want to put a plea out there to all the organizations that we know historically the women have been sidelined, but it is not helpful to just keep pushing women now and leaving the boys behind, because our boys need it just as much as the girls.
Exactly.
They had nothing to do with what the injustice the women faced in the past. Even with STEM, we don't discriminate. Everybody can say, oh, we should push girls. No, we are doing both. But we need to give them equal opportunity, because if we start now focusing just on girls, our boys are going to get left behind. And then we are creating future problems now for our children to now start trying to make it up to the guys. So let's just do both. Any programs we are doing, let's give both genders equal opportunity. Because like these guys you're talking about, even though your program was reactionary in response to their complaint, I still love you guys for doing something, because those are formative years, 6 to 12.
Yes.
After the age of 14, a child is already, their character is already formed. Only an intervention with God or the master's experience will change anything. So, but when they learn those things, there are young men who are in professional leagues that did not know etiquette. They didn't even know how to. Even recently, there was some celebrity that people were the internet was blowing up because she didn't know how to hold a glass of wine. You know, but my point is, what you guys are doing, you may never really understand the impact, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is that lives have been impacted, they've been transformed, and all that is gonna transcend their generation. You know, so you guys keep it up. You know, even what Dr. Crossley is doing with Mr. DC, I mean, do you know, it even boosts the men's morale. It's a big boost for their morale to know that somebody can honor them. They can get a crown, they can be recognized. Because there are a lot of men.
I would love to do a Mr. PA, Mr. Pennsylvania.
Do that. Work with Dr. Crossley. You guys are neighbors. Work with Dr. Crossley.
Yes, I would love to do that. To find out if we have a program similar to that. But
and you'll be amazing at it. You'll be very good at it.
Thank you. We're talking. Go ahead, Dr. Crossley. You want to add something there?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm here.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So, Nia Song, you're kind of quiet. You're the man in the room, but you're kind of quiet. So we want to give you an opportunity to share what men's program or what young boys programs do you know of that you might be involved in, if not, that are in your area, and what are people doing in your area that will encourage the men?
Well, nothing specific, but I just wanted to say that being who I am, and given the fact that right from the Bible, the Christian's guidebook, we learn from the Old Testament that God created man in his image. We read that in Psalm 8. And then, of course, in the New Testament, Jesus tells us to be that the man is the head, not that Jesus tells us, but we know that man is the head. The woman should do everything in their power to not undermine or underrate the man, but to give that man the honor he deserves, just so that together they can build a more convenient society, a more livable society, a society in which both men and women work together to make sure that the children that we are giving birth to come into the world and behave as equally as we have done, as we have shown them, so that they too are equal partners and equal members of the society. We should not ignore anybody or look down on anybody. We should accept them as who they are, but help, as Reverend Pam just said, to make them understand that their place in society is not to run down the society or to do those negative things that kill society, but rather to lift up society, to use our abilities, the talents that we've been given to uplift society, to uplift man. Man in general, not man as the male, but man as a human being. So we should look at that and accept them for who they are and let us move forward together so that together we can build a more peaceful and livable world.
Thank you, Nia Sang. I knew I had something I wanted to say before I called on Nia Sang, but it skipped my mind. As Reverend Pam was saying, how we must do equally for our boys. I was going to say that is my platform at the UN. Especially when we're talking about the girl child and elevating the woman and the girl child. I'm always saying, yes, we got to teach them. We got to train them, but we cannot train them alone, because all we're going to do is make a lopsided society. We must educate the men. The men must understand as well. I was hosting a women's conference in Kenya. I had been in Kenya for so many years, and I had been watching the women work. I do a lot of preaching and teaching, but I'm watching a lot as well. And I wanted to do something for the women because the women work so hard. So I had been planning for a whole year for this sisters gathering. I wanted to bring the women out to the hotel, away from their homes. I've been telling them all year, get a babysitter, make provision, because I'm bringing you away from the home all day. And when we got to the event and the women started talking, I discovered I had nothing to say other than I need to have a men's gathering, because men didn't understand the purpose of their women. So we needed to be able to train them both. So that is my cry and my stance at the UN. We've got to train them both. And I've not saying that there's not there any men's program. I'm just saying I've not heard of anything where we're doing anything specific for the men, but we got domestic violence, and men, we already know that men suffer domestic violence as well. But you don't hear it. They suffer as much, if not more, domestic violence, but it's not advertised. It's not talked about. Men don't come forward and tell it. It's not reported because men don't come by. They don't come out and share that. But it's just as much, if not more, domestic violence in the men's lives. But we talk about domestic violence against the woman and the girl child, and educating the woman and the girl child, but we must educate them well, because it doesn't make no sense, and it is of no value to educate the women and leave the men behind. And then what? Now we've got a society of strong women and weak men, and that is not the order that God created it. So yes, we have got to make sure that we're equal in training and developing. Yes, Reverend Pam.
Yeah, let me just add something to that. We're doing a program with the World Conference of Mayors and Bridge Foundation. And as a matter of fact, our country rep, whom you all know, Dr. Vivian Kumba, who's been on this call multiple times, is spearheading that program for us, for our sister organization, Africa's Brain Bank. And the rep just left Gambia. So what she's going to be doing is not just for the girls. She's going to be training the boys too. Because, for example, if you're telling them about sexually transmitted disease, it takes a boy and a girl normally. I'm not talking about the abnormal situations, for sex to happen. So if teaching a young girl about sex and sexually transmitted disease and not teaching the guy, you're doing a disservice to the girl, because let's say the girl tries to apply what they are learning and the guys can't even understand where they are coming from because they were not part of that class.
Right.
Or even what to do in case of pregnancy. They need to know that pregnancy is not the end of your life and abortion is not an option, because a lot of things could happen, including death, especially those that go for the crude method of abortions. But the guys need to know that too, because if a young man, most of the time they panic, or they're too young to even comprehend or trying to even imagine fatherhood, and the burden is left on the girl. But if both of them get this education now, the guy will understand that, look, I don't have to dump this girl because she's pregnant. We can work this out and still continue our schools, our classes. It's okay for a girl to attend classes while they're being pregnant. Why would discourage them from being pregnant young? Pregnancy is not a curse. You are bringing a life into this world. And also for parents to know that if your child gets pregnant, don't kick them out, because you're exposing them to danger. They're carrying your grandchild. Another thing is menstrual hygiene or women wellness. So what do you, a young guy, do if you see a girl's uniform stained from her period? Are you going to mock at them, laugh at them, or you will cover them? You take off your shirt and cover them. Those type of things. So we have to train both the girls and the boys. And they need to know how to treat each other and how to respect each other. Yeah, so we have 4 minutes to the top of the hour.
Yes, I just want us to also think of the second part of this discussion. We're going to be talking about, what was I going to say? Now I missed it. Okay, we're not just talking about honoring men, we're also talking about the challenges that men face in society. I know we're going forth and back on that, but what are some of those challenges, particularly, that men face? What are they like? Do they?
Well, I don't think
are they inborn? Are they formed by the men themselves? Are they self-inflicted, or are these challenges due to societal changes and whatever else we think about being in the world? What is it all about? What are the challenges that men face indeed? So when we come back, we should be thinking about that. Ambassador, you had something to say.
I was going to say that I thought you were asking a question. I was going to say their challenges, first of all, are themselves and their lack of confidence in themselves, their lack of self-esteem, and then society, and then women, I believe, in that order. Because when we don't understand the purpose of each other, we don't understand our purpose, we don't understand our roles in each other's lives, then we cause each other to be destroyed, and we cause challenges in each other's lives. So their lack of self-esteem, as Reverend Payne was saying, what does a boy do if he sees a girl's uniform or her skirt or whatever stained? Does he laugh at her and pick at her? No, if he understood what is going on, that this is natural in a woman's body. I say the same thing if a deformed child comes to school, or a child who is not as clean, or a child who has not eaten. That child is only a child. They're not responsible for buying their clothes or having their clothes. They're not responsible. They're not responsible if they are deformed or they're missing a leg or a limb or whatever. They didn't make themselves. God made you. You just happen to be blessed to have all your body parts, and this one doesn't. So we don't want to pick them out, or we don't want to push them aside. They are still a man and a woman of God. And we must teach and train and develop our men and our boy children equally as we do the women and the girl child. We must train them together and raise them up together so they can learn and be educated together.
Real quick before the 45 seconds come up, sometimes it's not, these men don't even have low self-esteem. Sometimes they have very high self-esteem. They are very confident, and society feels threatened by it. How dare you, a Black man, dare to dream big, to think so highly of yourself, and you become a target, and it's a shame. But one of the things I want to tell somebody is that the fact that you feel inferior to me doesn't mean I feel superior to you. You may just have an inferiority complex, and anything I do or say, you take it personal because you lack emotional intelligence. You know, it's not, I'm not going to apologize for who I am, you know, and if you have a problem with your self-esteem and you misperceive me, that is on you. It's not on me.
That's on you.
Yeah. Okay. We're at the top of the hour. Let me let me play the anthem here.
While we're playing our anthem, I want you to grab a drink of water if you need it, and we'll see you after the top of the hour as we listen to our anthem for the top of the hour.
Africans, Africans for Africa. 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 Africans have many bright ideas. If only you let us share. If you really want to know my history, please come, sit down, listen to my story. God gave us a wisdom. He guides our footsteps, makes us shine and transform. Hey, as one people, with so many cultures, yet indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us all unite behind Africa Online Media Corporation. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. It's time to come together, promote awareness, progress, and solution. Hey. Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa. Africans, Africans for Africa. All Africans can rally for a common cause, to believe without judgment in what our brother does. To identify and resolve our challenges, to allow each other's ideas without regard to standards. As one people with so many cultures, yes indeed we are one. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Let us solve all the problems plaguing our continent. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Let us empower Africans in and out of Africa. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Africa Online Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. They have all the resources we need to benefit our society. Oh. Education for everyone. If we believe prosperity for Africans. If we believe medical facilitation for Africans. If we believe stand up, Africa, yes, for Africa. Africa Online Media Corporation, that's a good way to start. Stand up, Africans, let's save Africa. Africa is a cradle of civilization, the motherland. Stand up, Africa. because we were weak, but because of our hospitality. Stand up, Africans. Let's see Africa. Jump on the Africa Online Miracle Jet. Don't be left behind. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. Together we shall succeed. Together we will win. Stand up, Africans. Let's save Africa. We are writing our own story. The truth, and we shall tell it to the world. Stand up, Africans, for Africa. No more lies. Africans own Africa.
No more lies. Africans own Africa. And we own full rights to that song, written by yours truly under the anointing of God Almighty and composed by our son, DJ Skipper, aka Jerry Cleo Tamfo. Now, and that's Ambassador Lisa. After listening to that song, I hope you feel much better. I hope you didn't even think about your aches and pains.
I was over here dancing. I was using it as an excuse to exercise, to stretch my muscle
and
in
you
my
can always
neck.
play it at home. You don't have to wait for Sunday. You can always play
I do play it at home. I do play it. I don't wait for just Sunday. So, but we are so grateful.
Yeah. So next week is Father's Day, and our topic is going to be, who is your father? That's our topic for next week. Who is your father? So I am going to now hand over to you, Ambassador Liz. Oh, by the way, let me talk about New York. Our sister organization, Africa's Brain Bank, is having its 6th annual summit and charity ball in New York City, Labor Day weekend. We're encouraging every one of you to come, all our listeners, share the link. We have an amazing lineup of speakers and participants, and we're going to be honoring our very own main anchor, Mr. Songlefan Kemleke. Ambassador Lisa is already been honored, and having her here every Sunday is an honor for her. And Dr. Clossie, we hope you and your Mr. DC family will be there. I'll be putting the link on the chat box, for you to register. We are actually, Ambassador Lisa, Friday morning, we're going to the United Nations. Before we come back and do the business to investor to business marketplace in the evening, so we have some businesses that have registered their business to speak. And Saturday morning, we're going to be discussing brain drain. Saturday evening, I will be delivering the keynote speech for the first time, because I coordinate the event, but this particular topic, I have to deliver the keynote. So we are expecting a diplomatic call there, because I actually want to present a roadmap. I'm an organic speaker, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what will come out of my mouth, but whatever is going to come out will be coming from my heart and my brains. So I can tell you that. So I don't believe in just going and pulling stuff from online, coming to present. No, I'm not criticizing anybody. I'm just an organic speaker. That's how I speak. So, and then we're also going to have the Billionaire Breakfast Brunch. Our keynote speaker for that is from Wall Street. We're going to have a beach retreat. And then Monday, we do a tour of New York City, while some people are living at that time. But come ready to mingle, come ready to meet, come ready to network, come ready to learn, come ready to share, and come ready to have a blast and experience Black excellence at its best. All right, so I'm going to hand over to the two of you. I'll step away, but I'll put the link on the chat box.
Okay, and I want to add to Reverend Pam, and come ready to take what you learn and go out and galvanize the area in which you are in and bring those Black brothers and sisters up to a standard.
Indeed. Yeah. Very, very important. Yes.
Yeah. So back to the conversation. Nia Sung put forth a question to us before the break. So we're going to turn it over to Nia Sung to continue the rest of that conversation.
Yeah, I was just asking, what are the challenges or some of them that men face in life as they live and navigate the world? Do we have particular things we think about when we think of challenges facing men, the challenges that face.
Let me jump in real quick before I step away. Just their skin color it comes across to some others as black. I mean, as a crime. You know, Rachel.
We lost you.
Appearance doesn't matter whether you are in a suit or in a hoodie. Some people think you are a criminal, and that's not just and it's a shame. Yeah. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed.
All right, let me step away. Thank you.
In my reflection at the start of this program, I mentioned a few things. Workplace stress is a challenge to men, not because they want it to be like that, but because they think that they are not doing enough, where the bosses, the people higher up than them, think that they are not doing good enough. In recent weeks, we hear of put down 5 things you did last week, or that you did yesterday, or that you did at your work. So that's a challenge already to a man, to everybody, to all of us that work, because you begin to ask yourself, do they not appreciate what I'm already doing? Why should they be asking me to put down 5 things that I did at my work this week or this day? That is a challenge by itself. Mm-hmm. Balancing your family life and your work life is a challenge. So are there other challenges that we know of about, or that men face as they go along trying to live their life as parents, as husbands, and so on and so forth?
So, Nia Sung, as a father of sons, let me ask you, what are some of the challenges your sons have faced? Now, they may not have faced the parent issue, because they have still to this day, they have a mother and a father. But as a Black man, and then to be an African in America, what are some of the challenges that they have faced growing up and becoming the men that they are?
Just being accepted was the first challenge that they faced when they came. But gradually they got into the society, they fit into society, and they adapted and they go along. But they still have those challenges that, of course, challenges that every person faces, challenges living where you live, the neighborhood in which you live, the job that you do, the people you meet, and the reception they give you, reception or acceptance or refusal of accepting you. Those are challenges by themselves, and things like that. You put on an attire, you come out, they look at you as somebody from some undescribable place, and they think that you ought not to be in that community or in that society or in that group of people. So those are challenges that they face. I face some of those challenges myself, but I tend to ignore them. I just give a blind eye to them and say, I am who I am. Let myself define me, not what people think of me or how people see me. So those are some of the things that I do. But my children, they have adapted to the community, to the society in which they live. They know that they have another place where when they go, they're accepted as who they are, but then they're not going back there tomorrow. So they are bound to accept the reality of this community, of this society, of this part of the world in which they find themselves.
As a mother of 3 sons, I have 3 sons, 38, 39, and 49. And as a mother of 3 sons, raising sons in South Philadelphia, back when they were small, you could say, oh, North Philly was bad, South Philly was bad. But right now, every area is bad, even Mount Airy, even in the better, supposedly better neighborhoods of West Mount Airy and Mount Airy. They used to be the elite Black areas. Now all the sections are bad. Everywhere has got crime. Everywhere there's drugs. So there is no good section and bad section. But as a mother raising 3 sons in South Philadelphia, and most of the time as a single parent, even when I was married, I was basically a single parent. I did fairly well. I didn't see my boys suffering the challenges that you would think they would suffer with the acceptance or the color of their skin being an issue. I was very much a helicopter mom. I was very much an in-your-face parent. I was very much always there, always showing up at the school. I would just leave work, take the bus, run to school, and just walk through the halls just to see where they at, what they're doing, peek in their class, and go back to work. So I didn't see my children suffering, at least my youngest two. My oldest one, he did have some challenges. Back then, we had the gang wars that were going on, and you had to go through the white neighborhood to get to the school, and there were those challenges. But my youngest two didn't suffer those kind of challenges with being accepted as Black young men. My concern is, first of all, they're musicians, or they were musicians as they were growing up. So my concern was always, maybe they're going to be caught coming home with the keyboard and get beat up and robbed of the keyboard. Or the youngest one plays drums, so he always had drumsticks. It wasn't like he was carrying his drums, but the other one plays keyboards and saxophone. So my concern was always that they were going to be robbed for their instruments. But the Lord has covered them. They've never had any issue. They've never had any run-ins in the schools, in the streets. They're both very successful in what they're doing at this moment, and they've never had any of those societal issues that most Black men. We didn't do drugs. We didn't have drug dealers. The only people that hang around my house were kids who wanted to play music. So we had the drums, the keyboard, the guitars, the microphones, the amplifiers. So you want to do music, my house was the place to do it. But other than that, they knew I was one of those in-your-face parents, and I didn't tolerate any of that other stuff. So it is possible to raise children, especially Black men, in the neighborhoods where you live without them getting caught up in the things that are going on in society. Nia Sang, I remember, go ahead.
As Reverend Pam said earlier, it begins in the home. Mm-hmm. If the home is quiet, peaceful, loving, caring, you take that out and you show it out there, and other people learn that it's better to be humble than to show that you know all and end up knowing nothing.
Exactly.
So I was going to see if Dr. Crossley is still with us, if she can also mention some of the things she has seen men face in their lives. What are some of the challenges that men face?
Oh, thank you so much. So, wow, my first real job was working for Los Angeles Police Department as a 911 operator. And I felt privileged and humbled and honored to be around men who served in our military and had come back with military scars and still serving the community. When you have that type of impact and influence on a person's life, I don't think that men take it for granted. I've often said that the difference between, because I also work for the fire department, and the firemen were different than the police officers and how they treated their wives. And I've always said that the firemen can run in a burning building, but yet could not reach across the dinner table and understand their wives, what their wives were going through. So when I was making a decision on which husband I was going to have, I definitely knew I didn't want someone in law enforcement. And and so it was like between my husband and a fire marshal guy. And I'm like, okay, the fire marshal guy always smell like smoke. Every time I look out the window, it's like a fire truck there. We're always where fires are. Even, if it's forest or whatever, because that was just what he did. So when I had to sit down with my husband at the dinner table and being honest and listening, and I even told my husband, no, I don't want to get married to you. And my husband, he wanted me to be his wife. And so I told him, okay, well, this is how it is. This is the type of person I am. Can you deal with that? So my sister, she laughs because where my husband has us living now, we have guards, armed guards at the gate, and it's around water, because my husband is Navy. And my sister she laughed when I was describing where we live now. And my sister was like, am I sure that my husband is not trying to keep me in here? Not trying to keep the people out, but keep me in. And I just laugh because my husband loves me so much.
Amen. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Uh, he used to, but I got him to stop. He used to say that I think I know everything. And so I had to turn it around into a positive and let him know, yes, I do know everything. So he, yeah, he's a good sport, and he would never ever tell me anything wrong. And I know when he's telling me something right because it hurts. And I have to like go through it and get over on the other side of it and learn. Um, I think for me, that is the hardest thing for me to do is to get that painful jab of when I think I know something and he adds to my knowledge. And if most of the time, I don't feel that jab, but when I do, it's like, oh, it hurts, And I just go, I know he's right. I know he's right. And yeah, so I think to answer the question, I think men do go through things with us women um, on a level that us women probably don't understand.
Right.
And and they want the best for us, but I think as women, we overthink, we make things bigger than what they really are. Something as simple as chocolate chip cookies I baked, and now I have this chocolate chip cookie factory going on. So so yeah, I tend to overthink. I tend to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and now I gotta bounce back from the chocolate chip cookie thing. I want to post it on Facebook, an etiquette of chocolate chip cookies 101. Yeah, because the first batch of chocolate chip cookies that I baked for him, they were okay, and I kept improving on them. And so now I don't know why he doesn't want any more chocolate chip cookies. So that's where I'm at with um with my husband and our chocolate chip cookie adventure right now. So I don't know what it's going to be like at dinner time because that's what's for dessert.
It will be fine.
Oh my goodness.
It will be fine.
So before,
Yeah, it will be fine. Yeah. Yeah, Ambassador?
before I want to ask a question, excuse me, before we move on. Why did you choose the Marine? We know why you didn't really want, I'm sorry, we know why you really didn't want the fire guy, but why did you choose the Navy guy who was in the military?
Well, because God told me,
Okay.
yeah, I prayed and I'm like, okay, God, okay, it's time, to have a husband. And,
Give me the answer. Show me the person.
and
Show
so,
me the kind of person.
yeah, so my husband, like I said, he was my best friend. He was taking me all over the world. He was really dating me. And
Okay.
I kept telling him I didn't want to marry him. And so obviously I had to get married, but when I was coming down the escalator and my husband was standing there waiting for me, I started to turn around and go back up the Till later.
You can't run away. You can't run away. Come back, come back, come back.
I know. So, but yeah, I tell you, God, he tells you a lot when you ask him. And that's how I knew that was my husband. And yeah. And so like even yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying, okay. I was just saying, I'm going along with what you're saying.
Yes. And so even in the whole scheme of things, the way God leads and guides us and even protects us, we're married to God first, and, God is our husband. And we get to know God, as our role model that a man can follow. And that's how we can judge as far as a relationship goes. And being in a relationship that honors us. And that's what God wants. And that's what he expects. He wants a relationship where we honor him.
Thank you.
No, let me,
Dr.
Rachel, you go ahead. I was going to ask a question, but you go ahead.
No, I was just thanking her for her answer.
Okay. I wanted to ask all of us this question, especially since you are two women and one man. Do men?
Don't forget me. I don't know if you guys are looking at the time.
No, I didn't know you were back.
We didn't know you were back. We thought you were still away.
I just got back.
I just wanted to find out, do men feel more pressure, more financial pressure than women? When the challenge comes up, are the men more allergic to financial problems than women? Do they respond? Do men respond better to financial pressures than women? Because I know it's a challenge. Financial problems are common.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they are challenged when it comes to financial situations. We as women, we've learned to take $1 and turn it into a meal. We can take beans and turn it into a gourmet. We just have that innate ability. And we don't split the small stuff. We just learn how to overcome and make things work. We know how, as my pastor said, we know how to make it do what it do. Men have that pressure to provide. And when they're not able to provide the way they think they should, or the way they think their wives expect them to, then that adds pressure to them. And sometimes we add that pressure by making them think that this is necessary. I happened to be watching a Jamie Foxx show the other morning, and the girl, Fancy, her parents were well off. And he was like, just go, it's our anniversary, it's their 30th anniversary, take my credit card and go buy your mother a gift. So she went to this jewelry store with all these $10,000 tennis bracelets and these earrings. And Jamie Foxx made her take all that stuff back and go to the dollar store. And he got a coupon book for hugs and love and stuff like that. And he was like, I don't know about this, but the wife was so elated. She's like, oh, I'm going to redeem one of my coupons right now. See, men think that we require all that expense and all that money and, to show me that you love me, when she was just happy to have a coupon for hugs and kisses and things like that from her husband that she could redeem, as opposed to the diamond bracelet and whatever else they was made to take back. I just thought that was so interesting, especially now in lieu of your question. It just made me go back to think. So we put a lot of pressure sometimes on our men to perform for us. And unfortunately, I believe we as women, we don't do the same type of performance, and we don't make the same type of sacrifice that we expect our men to make. And that I think that's unfortunate.
Well, I think it depends on how the woman was raised. My dad raised me to be independent, to work my own money, so that I don't have to totally depend on anybody.
Exactly.
But there are just certain things that women love, but I just think it depends on how the man was raised. But we are actually at 5:34 now. 4:30. Is it 5:30?
5:30.
It's 5:29.
I was going to
I have 5:29.
table after this.
Okay, so we can do a round of the table.
Yeah,
I think that was before we go to the round. I just want to say, Nia, I think that was a very good question that you asked.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Ambassador, Reverend, Dr. Crossley, I will start the last word with you. Give us your last word as we wrap up today, and prepare your mind for next week, Father's Day, or who is your father?
Yeah, so I would like to just say that in retrospect to how some men look at the income to support their wives and their families is, again, I look at God, and his word is true, where he owns everything. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And I think when we have a relationship with God, we don't have a relationship with money. And so to say that, I'm saying that God's love is pure. And when we can understand that it's not about the thing, but it's about God. I mean, I had to grow. I had to allow God to help me to grow. And when I started to learn about how pure his love is, it really humbled me. It's like I don't walk around with my chest puffed out thinking anything, because all I think about is him and him crucified and me being redeemed, and about his love being so pure that it's going to take me a couple of years just to marinate on that. And it's making me a better person. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Prophetess Ambassador Lisa, your turn to give your last word.
Thank you, Nia-san. So today we've had a conversation about our men, how to encourage them, how to build them up, how to be the kingmakers in their lives. Women, we have a responsibility to do our part to make sure that our men, not just your husband, not just your sons, not just your brothers, but to make all men feel valued, feel accepted, and feel loved, because the Father loves them. We have to love them as well. Let's do our part to encourage our men, no matter what they're doing, how they're doing, even if they are drug dealers. You start speaking into that life, speak into the atmosphere, who God called them to be, because God did not call them to live that kind of life. And let's not judge. And while I'm at it, I want to encourage you also to join Africa Online every Sunday, 4 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. We have a variety of conversations that we talk about that benefit the African and the African American in the diaspora. We look forward to seeing you, and come ready to have a good discussion. Thank you so much, Nia-san, for the opportunity to have my last word.
Your Highness, Dr.
Yeah, thank you. Don't bite your tongue, Nia-san.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are so faithful on this program. And I want to just do a shout out to all our men, all our boys, all our brothers, all our husbands, all our in-laws, including the outlaws. You're still loved.
You're still
and
loved.
I want to encourage every man that feel the love and know that you are not an outcast. Don't believe anybody who tells you you are nothing, or you are less than what you are and who you are. You are who God said you are. God did not put you on this planet to be a loser. Know that you can make it, whatever you put your hands into. Even if you made a mistake in the past, He is a God of second chances and third chances. Don't condemn yourself. Don't. And if you're a man out there suffering or thinking that you're worthless, you can email us at info@africaonline.tv, and we'll try to get you some help. Or you can Google helplines for men who are depressed or suicidal. There's help out there on the internet, but you are not alone. We stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just add to Reverend
Go ahead.
Pam.
Go ahead.
First of all, Reverend Pam, you did not add the ending when you said info@AfricaOnline.tv. Is it .org, .com?
I'm sorry.
The email address.
info@africaonlinetv.org. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Thank
info.
you.
INFO at AfricaOnlineTV.org. We are here for you. And we want you to know also, forgive yourself first. Forgive yourself. first. Nia-san.
Self-forgiveness is very, very important, because when you do it, your conscience is clear and you live and sleep perfectly overnight. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Please, next week, let us come in to honor our fathers, to tell us who our fathers are and who are the father figures in your life. Thank you. We appreciate everything.